This is Component 1 Taskbook Help Me video for question 3 and photosynthesis. We start off with a nice table for light dependent and light independent reactions, and it asks you to place a tick in the appropriate box. Don't put any crosses, just put a tick if you think that is true, and that's just AO1 stuff, so do you know your photosynthesis? Then in part B, then we are getting experimental results, and this is Kelvin's Lollipop apparatus. So perhaps you might want to, you could just Google on your phone Kelvin's Lollipop, and you'll be able to see a diagram of what's gone on in this experiment. So just 10 seconds with Google Kelvin's Lollipop and you'll see this apparatus. And then over time we're taking little bits of sample out the bottom after adding some of this, whatever this 14 CO2 is that they're talking about. Okay, and you know about chromatography, where smaller molecules move further than larger molecules, and in this question all the byproducts of photosynthesis, some are going to be very small things, like CO2 will be very small, whereas sugars will be larger. So things are getting bigger. Part 1 suggests why the suspension was run into hot ethanol. This kills the chlorella, but you're not going to get a mark for that. We want to know exactly how this hot ethanol, which no one would ever want to be dropped into, what's actually going to happen, and you can use your core knowledge of kind of chemical reactions for that. So killing is not enough. Part 2 suggests one biologically important, that's in bold, I'll make it into yellow, biologically important similarity between 14 CO2 and 12 CO2. So they're using 14 so that they can detect it using these blobs on this diagram. But hopefully it acts very similar to the normal 12 CO2. So you just need to really put that in a nice way and relate it to photosynthesis. With reference to the diagram, 3 conclusions that can be drawn from the appearance of the sequence of the compounds. So this now is, you're having to interpret some data, you're having to analyze this data, so we're not in AO1 anymore. So you're going to have to look at the scale on here. What have we got on the bottom? We have got time, and then we've got the distance. So this distance is how big, question mark. So bigger things will be down here, so these will be big compounds, and small compounds will move further. And this is time, so how much time has photosynthesis been allowed to go on? So here this is only a short amount of time. So what happens straight away in photosynthesis? And you need three points there.